Quick disclaimer, I am not a mental health professional. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a licensed mental health therapist. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a licensed psychologist. I have my master's degree in experimental psychology, so not clinical. Keep this in mind. All this is taking extrapolated scientific theory and giving suggestions on how we might be able to apply it to our life. It should not be taken as clinical mental health advice. Okay, please enjoy.
The problem. Let's set the scene. There's something about yourself that you don't like, or something you find unattractive. We're talking about physical features here. Things maybe you don't see as beautiful or you see in a negative light. This can be specific facial features or maybe even just your overall look, although I think most people have specific features that they don't like and features that they do. I am the same way. It's something I've been working on, and we're going to talk about some ways to try rewiring your brain using psychological science to have a better viewpoint of these features or of yourself, and to see this in hopefully a more positive way over time, but even getting it to a more neutral stance would be beneficial. We're going to be honing in really on the mirror exposure effect again, which we talked about 2 videos ago, which I will have linked here somewhere in the video. Just a quick few tips for you. And if you try them and they begin working in your life, please let me know. I am using these things as well. And I do notice an improvement in the way that I view my least favorite facial body parts, we'll say. Okay, let's go. Tip number 1 is to find that facial feature on other people who you would deem as more attractive or beautiful, or who may have more status, we'll say. This could be a way to find that internal validation that we know is so prevalent in human psychology. Also, it works through the mirror exposure effect as well, because the more that you see this feature on other people who you don't recognize as ugly, right? If you see it in yourself in a negative way, that's the issue. But if you see this feature in other people and you don't automatically see it as ugly, that's a good thing. The more that you expose yourself to that, the more it's going to lessen the negative reality for yourself. The more familiar you are with something, the more you're going to begin to prefer that stimulus. And the more times that you can introduce something as neutral or positive, the better. I mean, that's really the modulating factor there, is that it needs to be neutral or positive. So you need more times introduced to that feature in a neutral or positive light. So for me, for example, I have really large fleshy cheeks, and they come down like this. And when I turn to the side, they literally curve. You can see them. And it's something that I have been self-conscious about. And my celebrity doppelganger is Maggie Gyllenhaal. If you didn't guess it already, I get told that I look like her literally all the time. Let's sort of picture. Or how does she smile? I don't know. We look very similar, and the thing that makes us look similar, I think, is it's these cheeks, right? It's the cheeks. But when I see Maggie Gyllenhaal, I'm not met with such negativity as when I look at them myself, because I'm able to recognize, one, I think she's very cute. I think she's a very cute person. And then she's also wildly successful. I mean, she's an award-winning actress, producer, director, writer, mom, very extremely successful. So that kind of validates me internally, and that gives these cheeks a more neutral to positive viewpoint. So the more that I look at her or other celebrities that have these, it doesn't have to be a celebrity, it literally could be anybody, but I'm just using celebrities for this example because that's the easiest to come by, I think. The more that I see these in a positive light, the less negatively I think of mine. Both because it's validating something about myself, because if these people have this feature and they are still successful, then obviously this feature isn't necessarily an automatic negative, and I can kind of change it from there, but also just the mirror exposure effect. The second tip is what modulates the mirror exposure effect, and that is selective attention. You can utilize selective attention here as well strategically, especially if you are someone who wears makeup. But even if you don't, there are ways we can do this. So I'm going to be using myself, and then you apply it to you, right? If my problem areas are my cheeks, I want to draw attention away from them and towards something that I prefer looking at, which would be my eyes. I think I have pretty eyes. I have a little bit of heterochromia going on. I like that they're green, whatever, right? So by applying eye makeup and really drawing the eye, my own eye, towards my eyes and creating an environment that invites selective attention towards another feature, we're combating this. So one, you're kind of tricking yourself into feeling like other people are going to notice this feature more, which they most likely will. If you have something colorful here and nothing colorful here, the eye's going to be drawn to that color. So that's one way. But also, you can also utilize this with your own selective attention by quite literally paying attention and thinking more about your positive features that you like. If I like my eyes, I'm going to spend time looking at my eyes. And it might feel silly, but spend some time looking at that feature that you enjoy. Unfortunately, my audio cut out at the very end of the video, so I'm having to re-record this section. But I was saying, the more time that you can spend giving selective attention to the features that you enjoy, the more you're going to rewire your brain. One, to think more about positive things. You're actually going to be creating neural pathways that are habit forming towards thinking positively. So it's going to draw you away from those negative thoughts about the parts of you that you don't like. But also, through the mere exposure effect, remember, more times that you're exposed to that neutral or positive stimulus,
third time's a charm. We're just using the camera mic. I'm just finishing the video. That was the end of it. I was just stating that remember the mere exposure effect. The more times you are exposed to a neutral or positive stimulus, the more you're going to prefer that stimulus, and that works here as well. Okay, hopefully this all was helpful. I just wanted to give really quick tips that you can begin to implement now. There are lots and lots of ways to combat this type of negative thinking, behavioral changes, neural techniques, psychological techniques that can go really in depth and be very complex. I wanted to keep it very simple. Things that you can begin to think about or try to implement to help you have more positive thoughts and think about yourself in a little bit better light. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that it was helpful. I hope that you leave a nice comment below, engage with the video. Thank you so very much for being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. I hope that you can hear me this time. Okay, bye.